This video is sponsored by Tarot Stack. Hello there, my beautiful cozy babes, and welcome back to another pick a card. Today's reading, it's just going to be us tapping into exactly what you need to hear. I am channeling in from your spirit guides, and we are just going to see what you need to know right now. I felt like this was really the energy that the collective needed right now, so we're going to go ahead and get right into the selection. So pile number 1 here, this is going to be using the Exotic Cancer Tarot. Pile number 2, we are going to be using the Akashic Starchild Tarot. Pile number 3, we are using the Final Rose Tarot. And pile number 4, we're going to be using the Levitt, the Ghost Tarot. So all of these, of course, will be linked down below. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for kindly giving us all of these wonderful, beautiful decks to use. More on that down below if you would like to get them for yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on some cozy meditation music for you all. And I just want you to choose between these 4 different decks. That is going to be the deciding factor for which pile is yours. Just please do not forget that you cannot choose wrong. It's okay to choose more than one. It is completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and put that meditation music on though. So Tarot Stack is an online store that distributes indie tarot decks from basically independent artists. And these decks, when I tell you, and every deck that you see today in my reading is from there, they will all be linked down below, of course. But when I tell you that these decks are so good, like the cardstock is incredible. You'll notice in my cards that I use a lot of these on a daily basis and none of them are falling apart because they are really high quality, well made. And I also feel like Tarot Stack is just honestly such an ethical company. Like they really work to get tarot decks from independent creators versus something that is like mass marketed and sold. So it helps independent artists get their name out there a little bit more. And they have such a diverse collection of decks on their site. There's a lot of them are focused on inclusivity and having like gender neutrality in their tarot decks, which I personally really appreciate. They also have recently, I feel like, really upped their like feminine indie decks, ones that have more like feminine style to them. Like a lot of the, you've seen them even in other readings that I've done, but like ones that just have more of a feminine influence to them. And I really enjoy that as well. So there's a myriad of decks though. There's lots of diversity on their site. I own so many decks from Tarot Stack and I have not once ever been disappointed, whether it's the art style from the artist or the way that it was packaged and shipped to me, how quickly it came, like genuinely zero complaints. And it always just makes me feel good knowing that I'm supporting an independent artist and helping to get their work out there. So links down below for Tarot Stack. And of course, I will also link every single deck that I use in the order they appear down below. So if you want to get some for yourself, be sure to use my links. And thank you so much to Tarot Stack for sponsoring today's video. All right, pile number 1. If you chose the Exotic Cancer Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So we're just going to see what's popping, what's going on right now. What are your guides wanting to talk to you about right now? I'm going to kind of just get a beat on that. All right, let's see. going to grab a few. So we have the King of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, the Eight of Blades, or excuse me, the Eight of Swords, blades, and the Nine of Cups. So, oh, wow. Oh, no. Pile number one, y'all are really out here doubting yourselves. I can see that here. When your manifestations are literally about to pop off, you have been doubting the crap out of yourself right now. So King of Swords tells me that you're trying to like logic your way through something that is meant to be spiritual. And that is actually causing more grief than anything else, because King of Swords, this is somebody that has a very logical mind. Okay. This is somebody that, and this would this would represent you in this scenario. You have a very logical way of looking at things, a logical mind. And I actually think that this might be to your downfall, to your detriment. But Spirit is saying with the King of Swords, it's not that there's anything wrong with being logical. In fact, you came to the right tarot card reader. If you're somebody that loves blending like spirituality and logic, or science and spirituality, you came to the right reader. I am somebody that loves bridging the gap between those things, because I don't think that they're actually polar opposites. I think they actually work in tandem really well together. So King of Swords tells me, though, that you are a chronic overthinker. You are thinking too much. You are constantly focusing on what you don't have. And that is actually giving you grief. It is causing you to continuously make the same decisions and to think the same thoughts. The Seven of Pentacles tells me that you actually need to embrace a growth mindset right now. So this is a good thing. In terms of like you being an overthinker, if you're somebody that really prefers to work with the mind for your manifestations, this is good. You're on the right track with that. This should be a sign to you that you are, because the Seven of Pentacles, this is about having a growth mindset. It's growing ideas into something more, because basically, whatever it is that you keep focusing on that you don't have, let's say that you don't have more friends, or the living situation that you're in isn't the one you would like to be in, or maybe you don't even like where you live. I don't know why I'm picking up on that energy right now. Maybe this is like very specific for some of y'all, but if you are constantly focused on everything you don't have, instead of embracing the goodness that is there, I'm not saying that you won't be able to manifest more, but what Spirit is saying with this Eight of Swords is you keep limiting yourself. You keep limiting yourself by only focusing on what you don't have. So like, I think one of the best examples I could give you in my own life, and I like to use this, I know it's not for everybody. And in fact, from this point forward, I'm going to commit to no longer explaining myself about this, because it's something that I get such a mixed reaction from in my comments. I will never be able to please everybody, and I'm not here to do that. I either am your reader or I'm not your reader, and that's kind of the end of it. So if you hear me over explaining myself in the comments, I need you to call me out because I'm tired of doing it. I'm just going to speak my piece and move on. It wastes your time and it wastes my time to over explain. But one of the best ways I feel like I could explain this to you is like, I used to say months and months and months ago that I really wanted a friend in my life that lived in close proximity to me. I wanted to meet somebody that was also a digital entrepreneur. I wanted somebody I could go get coffee with and work on my dreams with. Like, I wanted to have a friend really close by. And somebody that, like, to me, this would be considered a more high maintenance friend. Okay. Like, and there's nothing wrong with being a high maintenance friend. I know that people take that as a derogatory, but it's not. There are people that are high maintenance friends. There are people that are low maintenance friends. High maintenance friends are people that want to talk and chat more frequently with their friend. Low maintenance friends are the kind of friends where you don't talk for 6 months at a time, but when you catch up, it's like no time has passed. There's nothing bad about either of them. It just becomes an unequal exchange when you try to put a low maintenance friend with a high maintenance friend, or a high maintenance friend with a low maintenance friend. That's when like problems ensue, because the friendship is not meeting the other person's standard. So there's nothing wrong with being high maintenance though. But I used to really crave like a high maintenance friendship. And what I have come to learn for myself is at the season of my life that I'm in right now, I don't want high maintenance friendships at all. And the person that I've been trying to manifest for like years and years and years, I've come to the conclusion that I am her. I don't need somebody else to fulfill that for me because I already am her. I am the high maintenance friend that I needed. I am the person that lives in my town. I am the person that I could take on coffee dates. I am the person that is the digital entrepreneur that I can go and spend time with myself. And I have people in my life that I can share my dreams with. I don't need somebody to constantly bounce that validation off of me. So it's just like, basically, I was always so focused on finding that person. But the funny thing is when you realize that you are it already and you already have it to some degree, that's when like I feel like I have people coming out of fucking left field right now trying to get my attention. And I'm just like, no, I'm actually really cool being by myself. I actually prefer that right now. I am only open for low maintenance friendships right now. And it's been like a really crazy turn of events because what I originally thought I wanted wasn't even like I could already give it to myself. And now that I don't want it, I feel like it's coming everywhere. Like it's coming from every direction now. I'm just like, no, I don't even want it anymore. So I feel like, interestingly enough, it's not that you don't want what you want. I think you just need to open yourself up to having more of a growth mindset about it. Don't be so rigid. If it's a specific house that you want, I'm not saying don't go for your dreams and try to manifest something specific. But if you find that you're choke holding yourself and you're constantly reminding yourself how you don't have it, this to me is a direct indication that you need to be a little bit more lax about what it is. If it's a specific location you want to move to, broaden your perspective. Look at other locations that have something similar. If like truly, oh gosh, there's like, I feel like even my own experience with housing has been like that. I was ready to like pick up and leave Washington State a year ago because I was so miserable where I was living. And then I moved to the beach in the same state. I'm so happy. I'm like pretty convinced I'm never going to leave here. I love this house. I want to own this home if it's ever a possibility. I love the location I get to live in. I can't wait to renew my lease for like the first time in my whole life. And I moved like within a few hours of where I was previously living instead of like picking up and moving across the country again. So I feel like that could be something like you might just be being too rigid. So the universe keeps saying no because you're being too rigid and too hard on yourself and reminding yourself constantly of what you don't have. If it's like more beach you crave, you need to find a way that you can get to a shoreline, whether it's a lake or even to me down to listening to like beach sounds every day could bring that to you. Truly. I have an alarm clock actually that plays ocean sounds to wake up to. I shit you not. I think that's how I manifested moving to the beach because I would wake up in that like state of mind. I don't remember what the brainwave state is, but in that like brainwave state, right when you wake up, I would hear like seagulls and beach waves. And I literally think it helped me manifest living by the beach. So like, you know, if you need certain bird sounds, if you want to go move towards a forest with certain kinds of trees, I guarantee you there are national forests around you. You need to be spending more time in them and appreciating what you already have because the universe doesn't respond to nagging and constant criticism. It maybe will over time, but it will come in so much slower. If you want something to come in quickly into your life, if you want change to turn around for you, you need to start putting and filling your life with more of that. Truly, fill your life as easily as possible with more of what you do want and less of what you don't. And the Nine of Cups, the reason I keep bringing this up is because the Nine of Cups is pure manifestation. It's getting exactly what you want. It's literally saying that your manifestations will come, but right now you're focused too intently on what you don't have. And that's actually blocking the blessings that are trying to come because you have such a rigid idea of what you actually want that if there is something within like a close proximity to you, you're completely missing the point. Like, There might even be, if we're going with like the house or like somewhere you want to live, there might be something really close by on like a lake or something. If that's what you're wanting, is like a body of water and it's literally available right now, you would be the perfect candidate for it. But you're not seeing it because you're so dead set that you have to go somewhere so much farther away to get what you want. That's what I'm seeing, is like you actually can have it all, but you are limiting yourself by saying it has to be something so specific. And it also, I feel like I'm hearing from Spirit that your journey is very a stepping stone journey. Like you are on like a set of stairs. There is no right now. I'm not saying that will never be the case for you, but right now where you are in life, Spirit is showing me a set of stairs. It's going to take steps over time. This isn't something that right now you are in the perfect situation to manifest the end goals that you're looking for. Not to say that you can't set yourself up to get there, but there's a few more things that you need to have happen and like lessons you need to learn from specific experiences that will help you to actually manifest the specific end goal. I'm honestly hearing that some of the manifestations you're wanting need to be tweaked. Like I know you don't want to hear this and I'm sorry. It's because there is something better. Like what you think is the best it could get right now, you aren't aware yet of what the highest possible outcome is for you yet because you've been limiting yourself. And your guides want you to know that it's time to broaden the scope. It's time to broaden the horizons. It's time to be less rigid and stop focusing on what you don't want. Now we also have the Six of Cups, the Magician. Oh, I love this. And the Eight of Wands. Okay. If you heed the information that I just gave you, let me show you these a little better. So the Six of Cups, the Magician, and the Eight of Wands. If you heed the information I just gave you, you will connect with a faster route. Right now, that is the focus, is like you need to put more intention on being less rigid, opening yourself up to more in your area. And especially if it's housing or connection for you, there is stuff there right where you are. And you've been limiting it by saying like, it's almost like I'm hearing the words like, I hate this town. I hate these people. Like you limit yourself by saying it's every single area and every single person. And I promise you, your people and your space are there. They aren't even that far away. And when you start to be less rigid, that's how they'll come. But the Six of Cups, I actually really love this card because it does tell me that there is something about, I just heard like you need to love that girl in the mirror. You need to love that person in the mirror. I do feel like you constantly pick yourself apart because you're an overthinker. And your guides are saying you need to knock that off. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but you constantly pick yourself apart. I'm also hearing, this is going to be really specific, that there's something about like drinking and judging yourself. And please know this is not a medical diagnosis. I'm not a mental health professional. I can't tell you that you have alcoholism or you don't. Like this, I'm not here for that. So just like, take this with a grain of salt. If it applies to you, it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But with the Six of Cups, especially with all of these like wine glasses, I feel like there's a lot of like, you judge yourself for having certain patterns or habits and you think that it's going to take like this deep ingrained work in order to get better. And a lot of it is just choices, and it's just choosing to see yourself and the situation differently, which is kind of what your whole reading is giving. So like you need to love that person in the mirror and start there. And the Magician, I love the fact that this is the card you received because the Magician is all about being your most powerful self. It is like everything in the universe is going to conspire in your favor like I said, if you start to do what I said, like what your guides are telling you to do here, you will literally have the universe at your fingertips to do anything you want, go anywhere you want, be anyone you want, have the company of anyone you want. And the Eight of Wands tells me that it will come in like lightning. It will come in so quickly. You won't have to wonder. And I'm going to use one other deck here for your reading, Spirit is asking me to bring in this I open myself, the guidance from the universe. That's what this back of this says. I'll have the actual deck listed down below, of course, but let's just see what we have here. We have breathe, inhale, exhale, create space within. And we have change, new season of life. Okay, so breathe, inhale, exhale, create space within. You are literally being told you need to meditate on this. I cannot recommend enough. If you're not familiar with the Gem Goddess's meditations here on YouTube, her meditations are life-changing. I've done at least one of them for like a 2-week period consecutively before. It completely transformed my life. Her meditations are so good. And you're literally being told that like you need to start using the power of visualization, to get what you want. And it doesn't have to be like, again, I think there's something about you keep being so rigid that it has to be a certain way. You're going to be surprised how life's actually going to unfold for you if you stop being so rigid. And change, new season of life. You are changing right now, and I think you're already aware of this. You are changing right now at such a rapid rate. You are literally going to see friends fall out of your life. You're going to see relationships fall out of your life. You're going to see, and it's not because you've done something wrong. It's actually because you're doing something right. Like, even if in the relationships, it's not like y'all have like a disagreement and something is so bad, like your energy is just no longer a match for the other person's energy or other people's energy anymore. You're literally going to watch people drop out of your life, situations drop out of your life, ideas drop out of your life because you are in a completely new season. I feel like especially if you're like a fixed sign, this is really typical as well right now because it's Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. The fixed signs were really going through it when Saturn was in Aquarius, especially Aquarius. But now that like that restriction has lifted, we are actually getting such a dramatic change for the fixed signs. So if you have like major fixed sign energy in your chart, I know I'm a Taurus sun, but if you have like any, like I said, it's Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. If like everybody has those placements, so I would just like check them in your chart. Somewhere in your chart, you might have like a corresponding house, but you are actually getting a lot of relief after a time period of discourse. But I feel like you're still so married to the way that it has to happen that you're not allowing the magic to actually take place. I'm sorry, I'm just going to give it to you like it is. You are literally blocking your blessings. You are the person that is standing in your own way. And it's not your fault. You're doing the best that you can with what you have. But now that you know better, you need to move better. Move different for yourself. You deserve that. And you can create it. Literally, it's right here. You can have it. But you have to stop being so rigid with it. You have to adopt a growth mindset and ultimately stop focusing on all of the like negative attributes. And it's not that like, oh, I have to be so positive all the time. I can't ever have a negative thought. That's not good either. That's what we call spiritual bypassing. That's what we call toxic positivity. We don't need to do that either. It might be a slow process to change the way that you think and believe about yourself. But ultimately, your guides are reminding you that it's possible. It's possible to focus on the good things that you have. And also something that's coming for you like from your guides is that you need to remember that you don't always have to be a work in progress. Like you have watered your garden so much, it's okay to just be the garden. You can just be the garden for a little bit and enjoy the pleasures that you do have right now. And that is what I have for you. Thank you so much, pile number 1, for tuning in. Please don't forget to check out Tarot Stack. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to support me as a small creator, please, please, please consider joining my Patreon. I recently put out a vlog for y'all and an autumn reads if you want to get into like some new reading material for the fall. I just put out a 45-minute autumn reads video for y'all. over there. I also do weekly astrology and tarot scopes for y'all, and so much more. There's so much more on the Patreon. I'm going to be releasing a new vlog here pretty soon. Another one that we just put one out this month, but there will be another one very soon that I've been working on. So if you want more like lifestyle content as well as some extra tarot content over there, be sure to check it out. Links for that, of course, down below. I also have my podcast available to you. It's called the Cozy Babes Club. We recently rebranded from Divine Authenticity. It's a good time. New episodes are rolling out. We are 150 episodes deep. I would love to have you tune in. I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below for those of you that would like to use them. No pressure, of course, never an expectation, but always appreciated. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me or purchase a course from me, my newest 4-week course came out a few months ago. It's actually 50% off right now. So if you would like to snag it at a super discounted rate, it is currently $111 where it's normally $222. So if you want to grab it at that discounted rate, it comes with like over 20 video segments, 4 workbooks. It's a good time. It is good quality content, and many of my students have had such great results from it. So if you'd like to check that out, definitely do so. Links to my website, KhloeTaylor.com, down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my patrons for making this content possible. And thank you once again to Tarot Stack. I love you so much. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. So Tarot Stack is an online store that distributes indie tarot decks from basically independent artists. And these decks, when I tell you, and every deck that you see today in my reading is from there, they will all be linked down below, of course. But when I tell you that these decks are so good, like the cardstock is incredible. You'll notice in my cards that I use a lot of these on a daily basis, and none of them are falling apart because they are really high quality, well made. And I also feel like Tarot Stack is just honestly such an ethical company. Like, they really work to get tarot decks from independent creators versus something that is like mass marketed and sold. So it helps independent artists get their name out there a little bit more. And they have such a diverse collection of decks on their site. There's a lot of them are focused on inclusivity and having like gender neutrality in their tarot decks, which I personally really appreciate. They also have recently, I feel like, really upped their like feminine indie decks, ones that have more like feminine style to them. Like a lot of the, you've seen them even in other readings that I've done, but like ones that just have more of a feminine influence to them. And I really enjoy that as well. So there's a myriad of decks though. There's lots of diversity on their site. I own so many decks from Tarot Stack, and I have not once ever been disappointed, whether it's the art style from the artist or the way that it was packaged and shipped to me, how quickly it came, like genuinely zero complaints. And it always just makes me feel good knowing that I'm supporting an independent artist and helping to get their work out there. So links down below for Tarot Stack. And of course, I will also link every single deck that I use in the order they appear down below. So if you want to get some for yourself, be sure to use my links. And thank you so much to Tarot Stack for sponsoring today's video. All right, pile number 2. If you chose the Akashic Starchild Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So we're just going to see what comes out initially, and basically what your guides just want to talk to you about right now. Let's see. We have oppression. Oop, okay. We have the 10 of Wands. Okay. We have the universe. And we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so what I'm initially getting from this reading right away is you're feeling very stuck and very trapped. You're feeling very stuck, very trapped. You do not feel like the universe is on your side. You feel like you're taking on way too much right now. And the thing is, with the Queen of Swords, this is a lack of boundaries because the Queen of Swords is the master boundary setter. And I feel like you're feeling very taken advantage of by either people in your life, situations. I feel like this could even be like a very sneaking suspicion that's been laying dormant in your mind, or like it's something that you're currently waking up to. I feel like this is a new thing or something you've thought about before, but you kind of pushed it out of your head for one reason or another. And the thing is, why are you settling? Why are you settling for breadcrumbs? Is my question to you. Because I feel like maybe at one point in time, you were okay settling for less, but as you've learned more about yourself over time recently, you're not willing to settle for less. I do feel like this could be about either it's one of two things. It's either your romantic relationship, Spirit is saying that you have been settling for less and like the relationship is actually an energy taker, it's not an energy giver. Or this could also be your line of work, like your employer taking advantage of you. And I'm also hearing that like you've been made aware of this more recently because you've had more time by yourself. Either it's been like you've worked shifts by yourself possibly, or your partner has like pulled away more and you've had more time alone to think about these things. So Spirit is saying that like ultimately you're frustrated. You're frustrated because you feel like you pour in a lot. You're not being given the same grace or respect back. And it's actually like, it's not even that it just hurts you. It hurts every person and everything that you touch by allowing this. So by not having the appropriate boundaries and saying no, you hurt your friendships by always being the person dumping this information on them. You hurt if it's like a romantic relationship, there is a potential like better partner out there for you that you're not able to connect with because you're holding on to this one. Like a partner that would be like wilder than your wildest dreams, that would give you everything that you want in a relationship and it wouldn't have to be such a struggle. It would be effortless. Like I'm really getting the sense that some of you are in very effortful relationships. And I'm not saying that relationships don't take work. I think no matter what kind of relationship it is, they all take work to a degree. But I feel like you have never known a relationship that hasn't taken work. And so you don't know how effortless it could actually be, how much better it could actually be. With the universe popping out here, though, I do feel like you're being put in a situation on purpose where you can't avoid it anymore. Like your life maybe has even felt like it's been not terrible. I'm not getting a message from Spirit that like things have been so bad that like everything feels like it's falling apart. Like you might even have a pretty solid foundation right now, but Spirit is saying that like you're being pushed to a point where you can no longer avoid this. And it's been a long time in coming, especially those of you that it's a romantic relationship, because we do have the South Node crossing Libra right now. And Libra is the relationship sign. That is the sign that deals with romance, relationships, like those kinds of specific intimacy, like intimate relationships. And so like that crossing the South Node or the South Node crossing Libra, it is showing up as like the shadow side of relationships. And on top of that, we also have Venus in retrograde right now, which is causing a ton of romantic fiascos across the board. Like, I mean, even if you look towards like the public, I feel like even like crazy divorces are being announced and stuff because it's not just the South Node. It's also this long extended retrograde in Leo. Venus retrograde in Leo. It's like we're tired of accepting less than what we deserve across the board. This isn't just like people that have Leo Venuses. It's Leo Venus will tell you you're not willing to accept less anymore. You matter more, you deserve more, and you're not willing to settle for breadcrumbs anymore. So it's like the person that you're with either needs to step it up and take some shit off your plate, or you're just not having it. So I feel like I need to say this because it might also help you to know that this is your pile. I just got the distinct energy of like a spirit animal coming up alongside you. So like if you have a pet and they just showed up in your room, I like felt that. Like you are having some feelings about this reading and they showed up as like a, hey, I'm here to support you. I just like felt that. very intensely. So I'm just going to call that out. Queen of Swords, though, this is like you need to call your own power and attention back to yourself. Queen of Swords is the master boundary setter. It's somebody that you don't tolerate less than what you deserve. It's like reclaiming your audacity. So let's go ahead and see what else. We have Three of Wands. So Three of Wands, Five of Cups, Knight of Crystals. Crystals in this deck refer to pentacles. So Three of Wands, this is about expanding your horizons. Expanding your horizons, seeing what else is out there. You need to take a break, whether this is a working, like if this is your job taking advantage of you, it's time for a sabbatical, like getting actual like medical leave to step back. If this is a relationship, it's time to take a trip by yourself and have some separation. I don't know if this, like, I don't think it's like actually separating physically in the home, but maybe just taking like a weekend away to journal out what you're feeling, meditate through it, maybe even seek guidance from somebody else, like a therapist or something. Please remember that I am not a therapist or a medical provider. I cannot diagnose you or give medical information. So just take that for what it is. But Three of Wands tells me that you do need to expand your horizon a little bit. I feel like there is a lot. Pile number one kind of had a lot about like small-minded thinking as well. You need something to be opened up and broadened for you. And I do think that's going to be done by spending more time with yourself and actually sitting with what is hurting you. Because the Five of Cups is also like, you have all of these beliefs about how terrible everything is. Like, it's almost like if your relationship isn't working and other things in your life aren't perfect, what do you actually have? And this is calling your attention to remind you that you always have something, whether it's family, maybe you don't have family, maybe it is your job that is good, maybe it's the support system underneath you, maybe it's your own level of inspiration and creativity, right? There's always something to fall back on, because the Five of Cups is about like losing something, getting rid of something, feeling like there is loss, but dwelling so heavily on it that we don't realize the things that we still have. So I do feel like Spirit is calling you to pay attention to more to what you do have. Like I said, pile number one was a little bit about this too. Like it has similar energy. It's not the same. This reading is definitely different. But if you felt called to pile number one as well, I would encourage you to go take a listen to that one too. And then Knight of Crystals, I feel like you are on the precipice of charting a new path. And this could actually be meeting like a new person, a new partner. It could also be like charting a new job, finding a new prospect and a new opportunity for your line of work if you feel like you've been really taken advantage of. Knight of Crystals, though, could also be a person, finding like a new partner, or like this could even be like witnessing a partnership that maybe you always tell yourself, but you don't say it. Like, oh, I wish my partnership was like that. It's time that you need to recognize that like those thoughts have been trying to tell you something this whole time. If you feel like that's something that when you watch like shows or witness like your friends' relationships or your parents, maybe even, this could be across the board wherever you witness relationships. If you find yourself saying like, dang, I wish I had that, or I wish we communicated like that, this is your sign that's like, you can have that. It just might not be with the person that you're with right now or the job that you're with right now. You can have whatever it is that you want out of this life. You just have to basically start saying no to what it is that you don't want. If there is a specific kind of relationship you want, you need to be brave enough to say no to the relationship that you've had. If it's a certain kind of job that you want, you need to be brave enough to say no to the work that you've done. Because oftentimes we'll stay stuck in the same cycle because we're not willing to close the door. Sometimes that's how manifestation looks. It's not always lighting candles and burning papers and doing like the energetic meditation and stillness. And like sometimes manifestation is looking at the universe and saying, listen, we've already opened that door. We've tried it. We're done with this door. We are locking the door, closing the door, locking it shut, and I'm demanding a better door. Sometimes that is how manifestation looks. It's not always pretty. In fact, I would argue that a lot of times it's not very pretty. So that is like a strong energy that I'm getting for you. We're going to pull out the Spread Crafters Tarot for you and just see. I just want to pull like a couple of these with some clarifiers. So I feel like you need a little more clarity in your reading, pile number 2. So we have Seeker and we also have a Wound. Okay, so these are going to kind of help you. You'll see what I mean in a second. So the Seeker card, it says, use this card to represent you, who you are, what you may be thinking, feeling, and how you are positioned in a situation or relationship right now. So we have the 10 of Crystals. Pile number 2, I hate to break this to you. I'm sorry if this is the first time you're hearing this. And if you've ever thought it, this should be, like, my readings are meant to be for confirmation. If you're somebody that provides financially for your partner, everything, you need to understand that you have made it too comfortable for them. I hate to be the person that gives this to you. And I don't think that every relationship ever is like this. I think there are times when we fall on hard times and we need to support our significant other, etc. Like, it's not like this is always that. But who you represent in this relationship, it's either for your job, like I said, or for your partner. For your job, if you are coming in as the 10 of Crystals, you are such a valuable asset to them. You do your job so well. It is a shame that you don't ask for more. It is a shame that you have not asked for that raise. It is a shame that you have not demanded better pay, more equal pay for what you are worth, because you are doing the amount of jobs that literally 10 people could be doing. If this is your relationship, this person sees you as their meal ticket and they just don't say it because they're comfortable. And I feel like you already know this to a degree. Like, you've already seen this, you've questioned them about it, and they have just been like, no, that's not it. But in reality, you make their life so comfortable. When I see a 10 of Crystals, which is like family money, it's lineage money, it's having a lot of money, whether you yourself provide that by working so hard, or like your family provides that in some way. Maybe you're somebody that comes from financial wealth, okay? You could be somebody with a trust fund, or somebody that has a lot of wealth. This person hangs on to you because you make their life easier financially. And they're not actually in love with you. It's why they don't make the changes that you would like to see in the relationship. They constantly give you excuses as to why they can't change or why they don't change themselves. It's because they don't actually want to. And they don't actually see a future with you that you see with them. And I hate to be the person that has to break this to you. I don't see this everywhere. Like, this is actually the first time I think this has ever come into my reading, and I'm devastated. I'm devastated for you. I'm sorry that I'm the person that has had to give this to you. And then we have the Wound, which says, how have you been hurt in the past? What is the wound that you still carry? Which part of you still suffers? What needs to be healed? The Star. Oh my gosh, bestie. You're going to make me cry. Listen, I'm not Willy Wonka. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. And that's always what I say on my channel. Like, if you came here for the real and the real shit, the real talk, you're in the right place. You need to heal the part of you that doesn't let yourself be seen. There is the Star. This tells me that you have true star quality about you. And like, this doesn't mean that like you're into acting or like, that's not what I mean. Like, everybody has the ability to be seen and like give something powerful to the universe, give something powerful to the collective. But you playing small, not letting yourself be seen, It hurts every aspect of your life. And I'm crying because I can feel the energy of everything that gets limited in your life. There is so much more that the universe wants to give to you, that your guides want to supply you with, but you literally say no because you decide to keep yourself so small and tell yourself the same story over and over and over about how you're not worthy or how there is something inherently wrong with you or this kind of situationship, which is what this relationship or job is like all that you're worthy of. You're worthy of so much more. This shit gets me in my feelings. It hurts. I don't like to feel this way. I don't want you feeling this way. You're allowed to be seen. You're allowed to be noticed. You're allowed to be perceived. And if you just need to like replay that part again, I would encourage that. You just need somebody to say it to you. Bestie, you deserve so much. And this is the wound. You're afraid to like, there is a fear of being seen. There is such a fear of actually blasting to the top. You have convinced yourself that you're not worthy of that, that it's scary at the top. And don't get me wrong, it is scary at the top. But you have so much potential that you don't even let yourself have. Like this could literally be star quality of like the fame kind. It can also be star quality in like you rising to the top of your business, you rising to the top and actually being admired more. I'm going to pull a couple more cards. Set intention, plant the seeds and watch them grow. And manifestation, what you desire is on its way. Listen, if you feel like receiving this information and you now know that you have to make some really serious changes in your life, which I think this reading is very activating. I can feel that in my own energy field. This might be one of those readings that really gets the ball rolling in your life. Set intention for what it is that you want. If you haven't done so already, and if you have, revisit those intentions. And know that if any chaos should ensue, if people fall out of your life, if relationships fall out of your life, if you should break up with the situationship, if you should seek a different line of work that you've never tried before, know that it is part of this intention. It's happening because it's here to support you. Your life isn't falling apart. I feel like that's the part of manifestation that nobody wants to talk about, is how sometimes a tower moment strikes immediately. And you are in this chaotic world that you've never felt before because you have demanded something different for yourself. And your current energy is being shifted. And sometimes that looks chaotic when it happens. But your intentions are powerful right now. Your manifestations will come to pass. If you just needed to know that, that's another reason your guide sent you to this reading, is that what you want will happen. You just need to set the intention of the lifestyle that you would prefer to be in, and it can actually be that easy. This isn't one of those you have to meditate for 60 days, you have to journal every day, you are in a position right now where if you just told the universe what you wanted, it would happen. This is a really powerful energy exchange, and everybody, I think, hits this at some point in their life, possibly multiple times, but you're in a really powerful position right now, and you need to be reminded of that because I feel like you feel really disempowered right now. So that is what I have for you right now, pile number 2. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to support me as a small creator, please, please, please consider joining my Patreon. I recently put out a vlog for y'all and an autumn reads if you want to get into like some new reading material for the fall. I just put out a 45-minute autumn reads video for y'all over there. I also do weekly astrology and tarot scopes for y'all. And so much more. There's so much more on the Patreon. I'm going to be releasing a new vlog here pretty pretty soon another one that we just put one out this month, but there will be another one very soon that I've been working on. So if you want more like lifestyle content as well as some extra tarot content over there, be sure to check it out. Links for that, of course, down below. I also have my podcast available to you. It's called the Cozy Babes Club. We recently rebranded from Divine Authenticity. It's a good time. New episodes are rolling out. We are 150 episodes deep. I would love to have you tune in. I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below for those of you that would like to use them. No pressure, of course, never an expectation, but always appreciated. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me or purchase a course from me, my newest 4-week course came out a few months ago. It's actually 50% off right now. So if you would like to snag it at a super discounted rate, it is currently $111 where it's normally $222. So if you want to grab it at that discounted rate, it comes with like over 20 video segments, 4 workbooks. It's a good time. It is good quality content, and many of my students have had such great results from it. So if you'd like to check that out, definitely do so. Links to my website, KhloeTaylor.com, down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my patrons for making this content possible. And thank you once again to Tarot Stack. I love you so much. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. So Tarot Stack is an online store that distributes indie tarot decks from basically independent artists. And these decks, when I tell you, and every deck that you see today in my reading is from there, they will all be linked down below, of course. But when I tell you that these decks are so good, like the cardstock is incredible. You'll notice in my cards that I use a lot of these on a daily basis, and none of them are falling apart because they are really high quality, well made. And I also feel like Tarot Stack is just honestly such an ethical company. Like, they really work to get tarot decks from independent creators versus something that is like mass marketed and sold. So it helps independent artists get their name out there a little bit more. And they have such a diverse collection of decks on their site. There's a lot of them are focused on inclusivity and having like gender neutrality in their tarot decks, which I personally really appreciate. They also have recently, I feel like, really upped their like feminine indie decks, ones that have more like feminine style to them. Like a lot of the, you've seen them even in other readings that I've done, but like ones that just have more of a feminine influence to them. And I really enjoy that as well. So there's a myriad of decks though. There's lots of diversity on their site. I own so many decks from Tarot Stack, and I have not once ever been disappointed, whether it's the art style from the artist or the way that it was packaged and shipped to me, how quickly it came, like genuinely zero complaints. And it always just makes me feel good knowing that I'm supporting an independent artist and helping to get their work out there. So links down below for Tarot Stack. And of course, I will also link every single deck that I use in the order they appear down below. So if you want to get some for yourself, be sure to use my links. And thank you so much to Tarot Stack for sponsoring today's video. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the Final Rose Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So something I got before I started for you is that recently you were crying angry tears over something. So that might just be some confirmation that you chose the right pile. I don't know why. I just got like a really strong angry tears energy, which if you don't know what angry tears are, it's basically like when you're so mad and emotionally like you've had it that you're mad, but you're crying. Cancer Mars is no. I'm a Cancer Mars. I know all about this. When I get angry, I always cry. That's just like the energy I live in. So, but you maybe had like some anger tears recently. So we have for you, Keep It Chill, card number 14. We have the 4 of Flutes, which says reflection. We have Hometowns with the 10 of Rings. And we have 5 of Mirrors, Tattletale. Okay. I'm wondering if you just recently got in trouble for something, because I also saw like the energy of like sent home, like being sent home for something, like dress coded, or like you did something at work and they sent you home for it. There's like something about being mad because somebody told on you for something. Okay. I'm not sure if this was like a school related thing, a work related thing, maybe both, especially if you like work at a school. But Spirit is saying right off the bat, it's time to chill out. Like, you need to keep it chill. Nobody can prove anything. You didn't do anything bad. It's like you need to just, take a load off. Let your shoulders relax. Chill. The Four of Flutes, which is basically like the Four of Cups in this deck, is basically saying, I love this deck. I think it's so pretty. Reflection. It's like reflect on your priorities, reflect on your actions. I get the sense that maybe you did an action with yourself that you're not very proud of. I feel like you had a moment where you did not act as your best self, and that's okay. I want to just say in the beginning of your reading that this is so normal. Nobody is their best self 24/7. This is why I have such a weird relationship with like the word toxic when we call people toxic, because you need to realize, if you didn't know already, you maybe already did, just be a refresher, but everybody has the capacity to be toxic. Every single one of us on the face of this planet. Every single one of us has made mistakes. Every single one of us has done things we're not proud of. And obviously those are on like a sliding scale. What one person does that they're not proud of could be dramatically different from another person. And things that other people have done, you couldn't even imagine doing things like that, and vice versa. But you need to stop. Like, the main message that I'm getting for you right off the top, pile number 3, is that you need to stop being so hard on yourself. Reflect on your actions and why you did something, and recognize that, like, you don't need to be mad at the person that told on you. If you want to be mad at anybody, be mad at yourself. Like, it's also okay though at the same time. Everybody does things they're not proud of. The thing is, if this is an action you're not proud of, if you did something that caused you angry tears and you're mad at yourself, like, you don't have to repeat that action. It doesn't have to be a consistent thing anymore. You're allowed to make new choices for your life, be a different person, become somebody new, right? You don't have to consistently make those old, outdated choices, or a choice that you've made before, or do an action that you've done before. With the hometowns, I also wonder, pile number 3, if you wouldn't benefit from visiting your hometown if you have the opportunity right now. This is the 10 of Rings, which I'm actually not sure. My bad. This deck, I've only used it a handful of times and I really like it. It's honestly one of my like newer favorites, but I'm not 1000% familiar with the suits in this deck. Because they're a little different. So it looks like, I know flutes are cups. The mirrors, I'm pretty sure, act as the swords. And it looks like the rings are most likely the pentacles, would be my guess here. Pentacles, swords, cups. Yeah, because the roses would be wands here. So pentacles, we're looking at the 10 of Pentacles. So and that doesn't surprise me at all, because 10 of Pentacles is like the family money card. It's also the card that speaks of like just wealth in general. Maybe something went south in terms of money here. Somebody told on you for something. Like, the thing is, number 1, you need to chill. Whatever you think is going to happen that's like worst case scenario, it's not. Number 2, reflect on your priorities. How are you going to act differently in the future when something like this should come about? Because I get the sense that you're really not happy with yourself or the situation. And I also feel like there's something about like, there's like a rat in your friendship circle, and maybe you're trying to figure that out, who you can't trust. So I do feel like Spirit is ultimately saying, like, it's not worth it going from person to person. You need to intuitively feel this one out as to like who you can't trust in your inner circle that you need to kind of remove yourself from. We also have for you to be continued with the cliffhanger card. We have cheers with the 2 of flutes. Okay. And we have the page of mirrors, the gossip. So listen, whoever this rat is that's in your life, they're going to continue to talk about you. And it's going to become very apparent that this is who they are. This is why I always say, pile number 3, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at this person for you. This is why I always remind y'all that gossip is not connection. I know it can seem harmless. It can seem like fun, especially during a Mercury retrograde, which we're about to be in. It can seem harmless and fun and like catty, but the thing is, gossip is a false sense of connection. When we decide to gossip about other people, it doesn't mean, some people have this weird belief, and I've noticed this especially when I like speak to my parents. So I don't know if this is like an age thing. I try not to participate in ageism on my channel because I think everybody deserves a fair shake no matter where they are in life. But this is something that like I have to explain to my parents who are in their 70s all the time, that when I say I don't gossip and I won't be participating with them, they will say, but I'm telling the truth. When did we accept this notion that gossiping means that you're lying about someone? Gossiping has nothing to do with lying. You could be telling the complete and honest truth, but it's when you're speaking about somebody, about their situation that has nothing to do with you, when they are not present to defend themselves. That is gossip. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't mean you're spreading lies. Spreading lies is not gossip. Spreading somebody else's truth that isn't yours to spread is gossip. And what this says to me is this person's going to continue to gossip about you, whether it's true or not. And you need to be the person that figures out who this is. I want to pull a few extra cards for you, pile number 3, because I want to know about this person. The caregiver, Queen of Flutes. So they give off Queen of Cups energy. The intellectual, they are very smart and very cunning. And we have 2, I don't think that's for this. Sorry. There's only 2 cards we're getting as a descriptor. Spirit was like, nah, put that one back. So the intellectual and the caregiver, this is somebody that you've really let into your life. Pile number 3. This is somebody that seems like they're really smart. They act like they're really witty and really smart and really intellectual. They could be somebody that like gives care in your life. Like they might be a caregiver and that's why you've trusted them, is because they like give care to their grandma and you're like, oh, they're sweet and innocent. When in reality, they talk so much shade about you that they are not like, I hate getting readings like this because I get pissed for you. I'm so mad right now. You deserve so much better than this. This person pretends to be above it all, but they're not. And maybe that's why you haven't seen it yet. Now, with this 2 of Flutes and to be continued, we need to pull a few more cards on to be continued because I'm not sure what that's about. But the 2 of Flutes, I do feel like this is somebody that's relatively close to you. I don't think it has to be your romantic partner, though it could be if you're like dating somebody in the workplace, if they're like new. I don't feel like this is an older relationship. If you've been with somebody for a really long time, you would know. But if this is like a newer relationship, they're causing drama. The to be continued though. Okay, so next destination, 2 of Roses, and the host, which is the Emperor. You're going to be leaving this job. Pile number 3, if you are in a situation where there's a lot of work drama, there's a lot of work gossip, everybody's always talking about everybody, I'm telling you right now, you will be leaving this job. You are either going to leave the position and like move to a new store, get a promotion and move to a new store, or you are actually going to be removing yourself from this company. Like at first I was like, if this is about a job and you got sent home, don't worry about it. I actually think that your time with this company might be coming to a close. It's one of 2 things. You're either getting promoted, but if you're getting promoted, this is how you're going to know. It would have been something you'd already put in for. Okay. It would have been something that you'd already been working on. If you have not been working on getting promoted in this company, you are going to be leaving this company. This has to do with work-related drama, especially those of you that are dating somebody on staff that's like a newer relationship. This reading is so specific. I feel like nobody's going to pick pile number 3. It's going to be like too specific. I feel like this is for like one person. This doesn't happen very often. I like it. It's interesting energy to sit in. But ultimately, you are continuing your path elsewhere. You will not be sitting with these same people. I feel like this has really plagued you for quite a while. You've been dealing with bullshit for a long time. And you ultimately are going like, okay, so we see this. This is a lot of drama. This is a lot of bull crap. Spirit, I would really like to know for pile number 3, what is like good that's coming? Can you tell me some good news about what's going to be coming when they change? So, I mean, Getting the host is the Hierophant in this deck, which is like a mentor, like becoming a mentor or finding a mentor that serves you better. But can you just tell me some good news, please, for the love? Set intentions. Pile number 2 got that card too. Change. And head, logic and logic and evaluation. So you're entering a new phase and a new season. All that needs to happen right now for you, pile number 3, is you need to decide what you want. Pile number 2, I believe, also got this card, set intentions, and you need to decide what you want from your workplace, from your line of work, for what you do, for your relationships at work. And then even if like something zaps you and you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? This is a good sign because you are moving into a different season of your life and you're actually going to be connecting with people that are more intellectual, that will not like, it's emotional immaturity. You're dealing with so much emotional immaturity right now. And your next set of coworkers, the next area that you will be in your line of work, it's going to be better. You're going to be dealing with people that won't treat you like that. And that's the good news, is that you are getting change. This is not something that's going to be with you forever. You're not going to be dealing with the situation forever. Good things actually really are coming. I'm going to pull one more card for you, or 2 more cards technically, from this Spread Crafters Oracle, because I want to see what else your guides want you to know, why they led you here. Excuse. Okay, we'll look at that card in a second. So it says, excuse. What excuses are you making to escape and avoid your problems? How have you been refusing to take ownership and responsibility for your reality? Ooh, that's a mean card. Okay, well, how is it? Red I'm so sorry, pile number 3. I'm not trying to fuck with you. Please don't shoot the messenger. I'm so sorry. This shit makes me laugh though, because I literally could not make this shit up. This is like so rude. Sometimes spirit is like this. You literally got the 3 of mirrors, which is like the 3 of swords that says red flags. Listen, spirit has tried to show you on multiple occasions that this is not your place, that you maybe even are meant to change your own behavior so that you can have better. But with these red flags popping out, this tells me that like you make excuses for the most bullshit stuff. Whether it's excuses about yourself, I'm calling you out, or it's excuses about other people, excuses for their bad behavior. This is a red flag, Henny. That is your shadow work, is to identify either your own red flags or the people around you's red flags and stop tolerating less from yourself and from other people. And that is what I have for you. Your reading was so blunt and to the point, but just, oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to support me as a small creator, please, please, please consider joining my Patreon. I recently put out a vlog for y'all and an autumn reads if you want to get into like some new reading material for the fall. I just put out a 45-minute autumn reads video for y'all over there. I also do weekly astrology and tarot scopes for y'all. And so much more. There's so much more on the Patreon. I'm going to be releasing a new vlog here pretty soon. Another one that we just put one out this month, but there will be another one very soon that I've been working on. So if you want more like lifestyle content as well as some extra tarot content over there, be sure to check it out. Links for that, of course, down below. I also have my podcast available to you. It's called the Cozy Babes Club. We recently rebranded from Divine Authenticity. It's a good time. New episodes are rolling out. We are 150 episodes deep. I would love to have you tune in. I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below for those of you that would like to use them. No pressure, of course, never an expectation, but always appreciated. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me or purchase a course from me, my newest 4-week course came out a few months ago. It's actually 50% off right now. So if you would like to snag it at a super discounted rate, it is currently $111 where it's normally $222. So if you want to grab it at that discounted rate, it comes with like over 20 video segments, 4 workbooks. It's a good time. It is good quality content, and many of my students have had such great results from it. So if you'd like to check that out, definitely do so. Links to my website, KhloeTaylor.com, down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my patrons for making this content possible. And thank you once again to Tarot Stack. I love you so much. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. So Tarot Stack is an online store that distributes indie tarot decks from basically independent artists. And these decks, when I tell you, and every deck that you see today in my reading is from there, they will all be linked down below, of course. But when I tell you that these decks are so good, like the cardstock is incredible. You'll notice in my cards that I use a lot of these on a daily basis and none of them are falling apart because they are really high quality, well made. And I also feel like Tarot Stack is just honestly such an ethical company. Like they really work to get tarot decks from independent creators versus something that is like mass marketed and sold. So it helps independent artists get their name out there a little bit more. And they have such a diverse collection of decks on their site. There's a lot of them are focused on inclusivity and having like gender neutrality in their tarot decks, which I personally really appreciate. They also have recently, I feel like, really upped their like feminine indie decks, ones that have more like feminine style to them. Like a lot of the, you've seen them even in other readings that I've done, but like ones that just have more of a feminine influence to them. And I really enjoy that as well. So there's a myriad of decks though. There's lots of diversity on their site. I own so many decks from Tarot Stack and I have not once ever been disappointed, whether it's the art style from the artist or the way that it was packaged and shipped to me, how quickly it came, like genuinely zero complaints. And it always just makes me feel good knowing that I'm supporting an independent artist and helping to get their work out there. So links down below for Tarot Stack. And of course, I will also link every single deck that I use in the order they appear down below. So if you want to get some for yourself, be sure to use my links. And thank you so much to Tarot Stack for sponsoring today's video. All right, pile number 4. If you chose the Livette the Ghost Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So let's go ahead and see what your guides have in store for you. What is going on? All right, let's see. We have the 6. I want to say this is Pentacles. This deck is a little bit more intermediate. La Reine, which I believe is the Queen of Swords. The 4 of Wands. Ooh, threw that card. And the 10. Looks like the 10 of Swords to me. It's looking like disaster. I mean, regardless of what the suit is, that doesn't even really matter. It's the energy that the cards are giving. So, and what your guides are giving. So I do feel like I feel like ultimately there is celebration in your life. It's not like everything is archaic and terrible. And actually that's the Queen of Swords. I don't know if I said Queen or King. It's the Queen of Swords. But like, I feel like what I'm really getting, this is Wands. Okay, sorry. 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands, the Queen of Swords. And this is looking like the Pentacles to me. It's looking like a 6 of Pentacles. Which this reading is giving confusing energy, to be honest, because on one hand, it's like you've been asked to share, but you're kind of upset about that. Yeah, I'm getting some petty energy, pile number 4. Hear me out. I'm getting petty energy because I feel like there's somebody in your life that like really wants to celebrate alongside you and like share in your splendor and share in your life with you. But you're not having it. You're not having it. You have a really strong boundary around you. Oh, you know what? Okay. You're wanting to share energy with someone. You're wanting to celebrate with someone. They are not on your wavelength. That's what I'm getting, because Queen of Swords is like a boundary, like they have enacted. And look, there's even what I think is so crazy is with this Queen of Swords, it's two people. You never see that with a Queen of Swords. Usually it's one person, but we're getting this like dual nature. It's almost like two friends. There's a boundary that's been enacted. And ultimately, they have done this for a good reason. They have done this to like save themselves, to help themselves. It actually doesn't like this boundary. I think you're taking it really personally. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It is more about saving their own energy because they have a lot. Like when I see 10 of Wands, the 10 of Wands is like, it's overdoing it in an extreme way. It's creating too much. It's being on like hyperdrive, overdrive. There is this like driving force where they are actually very, very busy. And I know there is this like saying in today's culture that's been around for a long time that says like if they wanted to, they would, or like, you know, it's not that anybody doesn't have time, they're just not making it. And no, that actually isn't true. There are so many people that are overworked and underpaid, and they are just scrambling to try to make their life work. And they actually don't have time. And I feel like that is very much this person's scenario. You want to share good news, good things, but ultimately what I'm seeing is you really just need to back off right now. They are under a lot of intense pressure and intense stress. It's actually really not about you, but you're taking the boundary personally. We have La Justice, which I love how this picture, it like mirrors the rain card. It literally, there's like almost the same two people in this card. One is the sun, one is the moon. You might have like a really lunar personality that's more introverted. They have more of a sunny personality where they're always like really exuberant and out there. I feel like it's giving that you're not on the same wavelength right now. We also have Le Monde, which this is the world. Oh, pile number 4 and the 10 of Swords. Ooh, okay. I hate to, man, we've given such harsh news today on so many readings. I don't know where the, like, you know what it is, y'all? Number 1, we have so many planets going into retrograde right now. This Venus retrograde is really showing us a different side of our relationships right now. And we're in that now. If you're watching this as it's coming out. Le Monde is the world. This relationship has run its natural course right now. And that doesn't mean that y'all can't reconnect at another time. But this relationship that you're concerned about right now, if you came to this reading with a concern, okay, it's run its course. And you need to let this relationship go for right now. And the reason I say that is the world is the end. It is the final card in the major arcana. And this could be a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could also be a family member. I don't want to assume. I'm getting that it might be more of a friendship only because I don't see any cards that are indicative of romance here. It could also be family. To me, it seems more platonic. But ultimately, I feel like the relationship is not in a similar place right now. It has run its course and you need to let it go. And I know that this might be a really hard thing to hear, but with the 10 of Swords being here right next to the world, this is not a new beginning on the relationship. This is actually the sun setting. If you've ever seen a 10 of Swords card before, in the typical tableau, which is like the image that typically follows the 10 of Swords, it's literally a bunch of knives stuck in someone's back and the sun is setting over them. And it's like letting, like maybe being filled with a little bit of regret, but letting something come to a natural conclusion because you can't hold it anymore. And this could be your energy or the other person's energy. I don't think this has anything to do with like something you could have changed, something you could have fixed. I genuinely am getting the sense that this is a natural separation. This is a natural occurrence. And I mean, we have it with the Ace of Swords. Let me show you that. The Ace of Swords. And we have Le Valet in, what is this? This is like the, I want to say this is like the page. There's just a new direction that you're being called in right now, and you can't see it right now. But the relationship that you're trying desperately to hold on to, it's one that can't come with you. And it's being shed from you right now for a reason. Because where you are headed, this person would actually really hold you back. And you're being like, it's honestly a really good thing how things are kind of winding down because it's happening in such a gentle way. There's no bad blood. There's no bad feelings. Nothing bad is, I'm getting nothing that tells me that this is toxic. There is nothing about this that's like, this is bad for you. It's toxic. Something bad happened. You did something. No. This is genuinely, when I see the world, it is a natural occurrence. You're being gently led down the line of like letting somebody naturally fall out of your life. You're being given the best case scenario. You're being given the easiest course of action. The hardest thing you have to do is do the letting go. The hardest thing you have to do is to fight the mental battle that comes with it for you. But ultimately, you are being led down a new path, especially around your finances. And this person literally can't come with you. You will be held back by the input of this person if you keep them around. You are literally being asked to let go of them by your spiritual team. And this is hard for you. I don't think this is easy, but you're being given the opportunity in a really gentle way. This is such, I've never had a message like this before. This is so interesting. I want to use the Spread Crafters Tarot really quick and just see if we can get some other messages around this. Opinion, a view that is formed based on what you know, how you think, and how you feel. A perspective or judgment informed by your personal experiences, your upbringing, and your worldview. So for this opinion card, we have Lorraine, which Lorraine, this is in the Queen of Cups. Oh, I'm not laughing at you. I swear. Please remember that I'm a Gemini moon. I feel like I laugh when shit's uncomfortable. I am that bitch that gets the funeral giggles. I'm sorry. You have it in your head that you have to be attentive and sensitive at all times. You have to be sensitive to everybody's emotions. You have to make so much space for everyone. You have ingrained this so deeply into your personality that you feel like you have to uphold this relationship because you need to be a good person by being more sensitive to what they go through and experience. And the thing is, that's just your opinion. It's just a story you tell about yourself. It's not reality. You don't have to live there. That doesn't mean that you can't be sensitive to humanity, that you can't live in that space. But Spirit is saying that like the story you keep telling about yourself, it's keeping you stuck. Now we also got affirmation. What is the truth that you need to hear right now? What needs to be validated in you? What will create inspiration and resonance within you? Oop. And we have the Four of Coins. So the Four of Coins, something that you need to be made really aware of right now is that you have a safety net that many people are not privy to. Many people do not have the safety net that you have. This doesn't mean that it has to be monetary, though the Four of Coins would tell me that it is. This can be a safety net of like actually having a support system that can see you through despite this relationship. Removing this relationship, you still have support. This also to me might be like a financial support system of a kind. Spirit is reminding you that you are being given a gift of having, honestly, it's a privilege. It's a privilege of being provided for right now. And this could have been like, maybe you got some kind of workman's comp. Maybe you have family that has money. Maybe you were given a check from somebody. Maybe you worked a whole bunch and now you're in a situation where something that you have is provided for you and you have some money to fall back on. Whatever it looks like, Spirit is wanting you to recognize that this is a blessing you're being given so that you can pursue what you're meant to pursue in this lifetime. And that is where you need to be putting all of your focus right now, is on using the privilege that you've been given instead of just hating it, despising it, doubting it, being afraid of it. You need to really be aware that this is a gift that's been given to you for a reason right now. I'm going to pull one more card for you. Fire. Transformation, rebirth, renewal. You are going through such an intense transformation right now. The old you is literally being burned away. And this doesn't surprise me either. We have the North Node in Aries for like another year right now. And having North Node in Aries, this is really the energy that it's, number one, it's here to support you always. But Aries is like very like headstrong, ambitious, confident. You are getting a rebirth in that sector of your life. So wherever Aries falls in your chart, everybody has an Aries placement. Even if you don't have any planets in Aries, you always have a house that corresponds. If you're unfamiliar with this, render your chart in a whole sign house system. The way that you do that is you take your rising sign, if you know that, which if you have your chart, I would assume that you know that. And you render the chart instead of in Placidus, which is what most astrology charts are rendered in, you change the setting to 0 degrees of whatever your rising sign is. So like in my case, I'll give you an example. I'm a Sagittarius rising. I would render my chart at 0 degrees Sagittarius to use whole sign houses. This would tell me which house Aries falls in my chart, regardless of what my normal like Placidus chart looks like. I personally have Aries in the 5th house. If you're a Sag rising, it will be the same for you. Aries in the 5th house is all about like confidence and regaining your audacity and your confidence. So a transformation and a rebirth of your confident energy, your most confident self. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to your guides for showing up. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. If you would like to support me as a small creator, please, please, please consider joining my Patreon. I recently put out a vlog for y'all and an autumn reads if you want to get into like some new reading material for the fall. I just put out a 45-minute autumn reads video for y'all over there. I also do weekly astrology and tarot scopes for y'all and so much more. There's so much more on the Patreon. I'm going to be releasing a new vlog here pretty soon. Another one that we just put one out this month, but there will be another one very soon that I've been working on. So if you want more like lifestyle content as well as some extra tarot content over there, be sure to check it out. Links for that, of course, down below. I also have my podcast available to you. It's called the Cozy Babes Club. We recently rebranded from Divine Authenticity. It's a good time. New episodes are rolling out. We are 150 episodes deep. I would love to have you tune in. I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below for those of you that would like to use them. No pressure, of course, never an expectation, but always appreciated. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me or purchase a course from me, my newest 4-week course came out a few months ago. It's actually 50% off right now. So if you would like to snag it at a super discounted rate, it is currently $111 where it's normally $222. So if you want to grab it at that discounted rate, it comes with like over 20 video segments, 4 workbooks. It's a good time. It is good quality content, and many of my students have had such great results from it. So if you'd like to check that out, definitely do so. Links to my website, KhloeTaylor.com, down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my patrons for making this content possible. And thank you once again to Tarot Stack. I love you so much. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.